Oh, it's close. Now some of you might be wondering, why is this sea glide going that quick? Well, that is because it is a newer version of the sea glide. It's called the Power Glide, and it will be in the final edition of the game, I hope, because it's totally awesome. It's probably going to be one of the things that will be included on the Workbench, and it's basically a normal sea glide. But when you hold the right mouse button down, you get this awesome acceleration, which I think it's quicker than the Sea Moth. I'm fairly sure it's like a lot quicker than that, so it's quite a handy thing to have in your inventory when you, like me then, trying to escape from that Reaper. Very handy indeed. So, as you can see, I have a lovely dark blue submarine now, and I think it looks totally awesome. I'm glad they've added the ability to change the base colour of the submarine now, and the secondary stripe as well. So originally it was just this band here, you could change this colour, but now they've added the ability to change this light blue colour here. You can change that, and that ring around the top part of the submarine there, and also the base colour of the submarine. So create whatever colour submarine you want, which I think is totally awesome. I'm glad they've stuck that in the game. So, you may or may not be aware that the Alterra Science update has now been added to the game with some fairly cool updates, if I don't say so myself. So if I just go and take a quick wander, or currently I seem to be swimming inside my Cyclops. This is the experimental version of the game, so anything that's happening on my game that isn't happening on yours, that's probably the reason why. If you want to opt into the experimental mode and have some cool things like swimming around in oxygen, then I'll leave the information down in the description on how you can do that. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to show you what has been added in that update. The first thing that I've noticed is that you can now change the colour of the name of your ship, so the text that appears on the side of your ship. So if I call it the Clops, I don't know, I'm useless with creative names, so I can now change that to, if I wanted to change it to bright pink, I could change it to bright pink. It's probably not the best colour scheme to go with my dark blue submarine, but there you go. And moving on, the Workbench is now added into the game officially. So if I go into here, I'll show you what you can do. I think I've already shown you this on my last video, but I might as well run through it again and show you guys what it's like to actually use these things. So the Diamond Blade is a ultra sharp blade. It's basically just an upgrade from the standard knife that you get. And there is also the Heat Blade. Now this is quite a cool one. Instead of having to, on survival mode, catch a fish and then take it back to your fabricator to cook it, you can now simply kill a fish or any food source with the Heat Blade, and it will cook it then and there for you, and it's ready to eat then and there. So it saves you having to go back and forth trying to, you know, survive that way, and it's a lot quicker, saves you a lot of hassle, which is fairly cool. So there is the two oxygen tank upgrades. You have the plasteel tank, which is an extra light tank, and there's a high capacity tank as well, which gives you an extra 30 seconds on top of your standard 30 seconds. So normally you start off with 45 seconds of oxygen without any oxygen tanks. When you equip an oxygen tank, that gives you 30 seconds of oxygen, so that will take you up to 75 seconds of oxygen with a standard tank. And then when you upgrade that to a high capacity, you should, if my maths isn't too bad, have 105 seconds of oxygen with just one tank. So that means your inventory space will have a lot more room for other items whilst you're swimming around the ocean floor, and that is just a generally all-round good upgrade to go with. So the next upgrades you can do with your fins is the Ultra Glide fins, which increases your swim speed, And there is also the swim charge fins. So when you're holding a item such as the stasis rifle or any other item that requires a battery use, these fins will charge that device whilst just swimming around with that item. So that is pretty handy. It saves you having to keep building batteries or wasting your resources on building batteries, etc. So it's pretty cool if I don't say so myself. So what I might do now is go and take a few of these items out into the field and test them for you and just have a little bit of a mess about, basically. Oh, and one last thing I forgot to mention. If I go on my fabricator here, if I go into the personal tab and equipment, you can see there is a still suit which can reclaim moisture from the body. This replaces the radiation suit though, so it may be best to use this once you've fixed the radiation in the Aurora, which then you could replace with the still suit. And yeah, that reclaims moisture from the body. Where that moisture comes from, I do not know, and maybe that's a question for another day. But anyway, let's go and take a few of these items out into the world and give them a bit of a test. So one quick thing before I go and test these things, I forgot to mention as well, that if you want to create the workbench, what you'll need to do is, in the world, there will be a workbench fragment which will appear in one of those sort of sandy coloured boxes. When you pick that up, you have to take it over to your fragment analyzer, like you do with the CMOF fragments or the stasis rifle fragments, exactly the same. You pop it in there, that'll analyze the fragment. I've already done that, so it won't run that for me, but that's how you will then be able to get the blueprints for the workbench, which should appear there. And then once you have that, I get the builder out, you go to the very bottom and there's the workbench. So you'll need the blueprint, 2 titanium, a wiring kit and a computer chip. So it's not too hard to find. I think the hardest bit would probably be to find it in the world. So yeah, let's go and test these items. Okay, so the first one is the diamond blade. There's nothing really that interesting about this one. It's just a sharper blade, so it'll probably do more damage to enemies and stuff. Be easier to defend yourself. So there's that. Now this is the heat blade. It looks pretty damn cool. It's glowing with a fiery glow. And yeah. So like I said, when you're using this on a food source, such as this guy here, let's see if we can go and test it on him. I know they're a food source, so it'd be best to try it. So, come here! There you go. I think I got him. So now if I go down to him, he's a cooked peeper. So if I was on survival, oops, no, I don't want to chuck him away. I'm chucking my dinner away here. Yeah, so if I was on survival, and yeah, you'd just you'd eat that little sucker, and it saves having to swim all the way back to a fabricator just to cook it. So that is a nice little update they've added there. So this has to be one of my favourite things that they've added to the game. It's so much fun, and I'm glad they've added it. So this is the propulsion cannon. If you right click on the mouse, you can see I've taken this little dude, and I can take him with me. I could just go for a swim. But as I'm swimming around with this guy, or holding him in my grips, should I say, it does drain a bit of the energy pretty quickly, which is disappointing. It's, you know, it'd be nice if that lasted a bit longer. But once you have something in your grip, if you right click again, you can literally shoot that for miles. I don't even know where that went. You can do the same with objects in the world, so like mushrooms. You just pick them up and just shoot them wherever you want. Okay, let's see how high I can shoot one of these. Oh, okay. No, he just disappeared. Try a mushroom. Okay, he just disappeared. Maybe they'll work on that. But anyway, it is pretty damn awesome. Let's see if we can find one of these sharks down here. I'm fairly sure it works on them. I killed one shark with one before. So, oh, that was mean, wasn't it? That was nasty of me. Yeah, I think that does kill them when you bounce them off a brick wall or a big rock like that. Here we go. It did work on him last time. Okay, so that won't work. But maybe the fire blade will do more damage than the standard blade, so let's test this out. Okay, he's still going. He's twitching everywhere. He's struggling. There we go. There he goes on his way. Now can I use him with this? Oh. So I think you can use items to like fire at enemies. So like say if I pick this up. Okay, he kind of just like catches it in his mouth. It does damage them though. Oh, sugar. Okay, well that was interesting. Yeah, so I did see a little bit of blood after I hit him with that scrap metal. So it does look like you can damage enemies with this method. Okay, just recharge. As for those fins, I'm not sure why it isn't recharging my propulsion cannon, whether that isn't added in full yet. I'm not too sure. This is the experimental mode, so there may be unfinished things in the game that haven't been properly implemented, but I'm sure in the final version of the game that will be all correctly added. So I'm going to test it with a stasis rifle just to make sure. Okay, yes, so it does work with the stasis rifle. As you can see, if I just spam my energy source, and there you go. You can see the energy rising there for the stasis rifle, so that's pretty cool. So if I re-equip the propulsion cannon. Okay, yeah, sorry, I am mistaken. It is charging the propulsion cannon as I swim around, so yeah, that is awesome. So as long as you're not overusing your equipment and you have the fins equipped, you don't have to really worry about finding batteries or stuff like that. So I can imagine that's handy when you're not, you have no need to use your fins that increase your swimming speed. You could, you know, go around in your Seamoth or your Power Glide, and when you're looking for loot in the world, you could just equip your charge fins and look for loot whilst you've got them equipped, and charge all your handheld items whilst you're swimming around, and kill two birds with one stone. So that's pretty damn awesome. I'm also pretty sure that there is new music in the game now. And there is the bright pink text that I wrote on the side of my submarine. The Clops. Okay, so that is the end of today's episode. It was just a little quick video just to show you what was involved in the Alterra science update. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something new. And until next time, Have a great day.